Yo, what's up guys, it's Pelican here, back with another deck profile. So essentially, before we go ahead and start the video, I wanted to go ahead and ask you guys, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It supports the channel. Your mom's happy, your dad's happy, your brother, your sister, everyone's happy if you do it. I'm happy especially, and it helps the channel grow, and we get to branch out, and it helps me also make more meme content if I can. I want everyone to see my content. Very happy. But yeah, so back to the deck profile. So essentially, like I said, this is just the updated version of what I believe I'm going to be playing. So the biggest change for me was the hand traps. So right now, we're playing 2 Nibiru, 2 Ash, 2 Veil, and 3 Imperm. I think these are the best hand traps to play right now in regards to it, and these are usually the most effective. Now, we're still playing the Infinity Gate engine, which was something that I'm really happy about that this deck can do, because a lot of time you're ending on Infinity Gates or Trident, and if you don't have any hand traps, you can do that as well. But right now, we're still playing 3 of all of the Tribrigade 3 of him, because he lets you dump them, and also it gets you to him. He also searches, which is really nice, and he lets you pitch one to special summon himself, which is really free. And obviously they all share the effect where you can banish Beast, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast from your graveyard to summon boys from the deck. I guess the biggest change, in all honesty, not really the hand traps, but it'd be this. So I decided to play Cattle Call. Right now, I'm really liking Cattle Call. It lets me get into the bigger guys. It's really mainly for him as well, because if he's out, I can use Cattle Call, get this guy out, and then also get a search off this. And then I'm going to end up linking this off, him and some other beast, where usually it's like an extra Zoo XYZ that we're not really using, into her. And then I get a free search, which is any of the other ones, and then I can special summon it off this. And then we can just keep going from there. We can summon some more Link, and then we can also make Union Carrier right after, which is just 2 free. Other than that, everything else is the same. 2 Nibiru, 1 Apex Avian, 3 of each Tri-Brigade, of course, 3 of all the good zoos, and then 1 of the rat. I really wanted to play Bunny Blast. I want to play her as a 1 of either cutting a Ram or just adding her in. I'm not too sure yet. We'll definitely know probably by the end of next week when you guys see an IRL deck profile. And then of course we have the 1 Thunderbird, 2 Ash, 3 of them, of course, both of them. 2 Veiler, 1 Callby because it's a sack card and it's still insane. 3 Airborne Assault, I think that's the name of it in IRL, but let's just say Tri-Brigade Airborne. 1 Barrage, 3 Tenki, and 3 Imperm. And then we're playing 2 of the new Zeus card, because this card is 2 free, so for those of you guys who don't know what this card does, so once returned from an XYZ battle this turn, you can also XYZ summon himself by using 1 XYZ monster control as material. So he turns himself into a Zoo monster as long as 1 battles, basically. So essentially the plays are usually throw over, Borbo, punch face, summon, blow board. He also has a secondary effect, so once per turn if another card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can attach 1 card from hand deck or extra deck. One thing that came up from testing was that I had this summoned into a zone, and I ended up having to use the zone under it, not under it, above it, so I could keep link summoning. And so one good thing is if he attacks, you can actually throw over another one, which is still crazy. And then obviously next turn, but throwing him over himself to move him is also really helpful, or just to get materials on him, which is really good as well. And then 2 Tigger, 2 Chakanine, 1 Dragon, 1 Borbo, 2 of the big Link 4 because he's one of the better ones, Mega Clops because we can make him, some more because he's part of the Infinity Gate combo, 2 of the Link 2 because she's better than Link 3. He comes up just not enough, and his secondary effect too is kind of garbage, to be fair. And 1 Union Carrier as well. And for those of you who don't know what these links do, I'll go into them right now before I show you some replays. So for one, if this card is special summon, or if another Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast is special summoned to your field, you banish 1 card in the field non-target, which is crazy. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast from your deck to your hand, whose level is less than or equal to the number of banished beasts. Yeah. You can add a zoo, you can add any of the tri-brigades, whatever really works, which is one thing I like, that it can add the zoo so you can keep going with the zoo plays. And then she summons 1 from the hand during your main phase as well. Also, you cannot use monsters as link material for the rest of the turn, except for Beast, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, which doesn't really matter because that's your entire deck. And then when she's sent to the graveyard, she draws 1 and then puts 1 to the bottom of the deck, which isn't bad. So it lets you put back deck cards, or even if you drew these, it lets you put those back too, which is really nice as well. The extract is super tight because I wanted to play the Infinity Gates engine. You don't have to play them, but I really like them personally. You can cut these at hand traps or any other extenders, you can think of any. But yeah, so in regards to the replays, So first one is versus Numeron. This one was a really large grind game, and I really didn't open that well, to be honest. So he goes Numeron wall, grabs the network, and then he does, you know, Numeron shenanigans, makes his Zexal, yada 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 yada. So with this in particular, I I ended up setting, yeah, I set the Ash, which I could have waited. I would have taken 2k to the face, but I would have been able to keep the Ash, but it doesn't really matter too much. And you know, during this duel, he was telling me, he's like, you know, I'm gonna go to the next game. I'm like, nah, I'm good. The deck doesn't do much besides sit on this for a while, and he ends up doing that. And I let him get his, I let him keep going because I really don't care. This card is the only worries, and I'm not gonna just play into it. He sets a monster regardless, and he flips it over to the Inspector board. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. Um, yeah, he sets one and passes. Now I end up starting playing. I normal summon the Whiptail, and I just go straight into Trident and use the effect to pop that, and then I go into Borbo. I didn't need to go into Borbo. I don't know why I did. I should have, but yeah. I ended up making Zeus popping everything. Now I just start my Tri-Brigade plays, banish 4, summon the Wing Beast guy, link them off, search another Tri-Brigade. I ended up searching him and specialing that out of my hand, linking those two off with a Samorg link, using his effect to do that. And then we set that and pass. What I was supposed to do was, and I didn't notice this till after, and I could have made the, I could have also done Union Carry to do the Infinity Gates. Was I was supposed to summon Chakanine first, detach, summon one of the XYZs, or really anything, it doesn't really matter too much, one of the XYZs, and then throw it over. But I also realized, like in hindsight, if I did that, he would have sold the board, so I was like, whatever. But yeah, I end up getting the big chicken out. He goes Numeron Network, I negate. And then he ends up going Kaiju Slumber, and I Ash Blossom, and yeah. So that's one, and I bring the chicken back out. Now I think I just do a bunch of extra stuff just to be extra here. I normal summon this, banish 2, and he just scoops. Wrong game, I guess. And I go over his dual avatar as well. This deck, I really like this deck going into the format, but I think it just needs a lot more support to really do much. But he normal summons this guy, Valor, and essentially he sets Imperm in their trap card and passes. So I go to normal Rat, he ends up Imperming it, unfortunately, which was okay with me. I don't really care too much. I pitch him, do this so I could search one, and then I go ahead and make Dryden, use Dryden effect to pop. So then I go into Chakanine, bring one of the Zoos back. Go ahead and link 2 into this, use the effect to bring a boy out from hand. I go ahead and use Airborne so I can bring another guy out, and then I link 3 into the Samorg link, and I use this effect to bring out the link 4. Yeah, bring out the link 4. He ogres it, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. It's whatever. Still banish just that card, and I end up searching a Whiptail as well. And I use this effect to summon the link 4 as well, and I realized after I was doing this, I had locked myself into, I believe it was, yeah, I had locked myself out. I couldn't make Union Carrier, unfortunately, or Dryden, so I was like, oh, this is unfortunate. But I ended up bringing the big chicken out, and I'm like, I'm going to negate one of his cards, both are not too good. He drew the field spell, which is insane for the deck, but there wasn't really much of a follow-up. So he goes and activates the field spell, searches this guy, normal summons, gives himself a token, pops a token. He does search the spell, but he can't do anything with it because you need a card in hand to discard, and he just surrenders. This is the only like situation, I guess, where the Link 3 would have really came in handy, because they're both Earth, so I could have made the Link 3 so I could do a Union Carrier, but, like, I don't know, I don't think this card is worth, it's very situational to where it's actually worth something, so I'm not exactly, like, a fan of it. And last one, this was versus Invoked Eldritch, definitely a good game. I go ahead and just start my shenanigans with my, you know, Tri-Brigade plays. I go ahead and pitch summon, use his effect to dump, and I go ahead and go for the Link 2, use her effect to summon from hand, and then I make Union Carrier, and then effect to put one back and draw. And I draw a Zoo, which is really good, so I can make Dryden. I haven't even normal summoned. He Nibiru's me, unfortunately, and I'm like, okay. I normal summon, make Borbo, make Dryden, pass. So it was a little awkward. Now from here, we went ahead and just, he tried to attack and I popped it, of course. And he goes and activates Numeron Network. I'm like, sure, it's whatever. Instead of making Zexu, he makes Mega Clops. So I'm like, I tried him on the board. He meltdowns, grabs the Alistair, sets a two Conquistadors, and passes. I tried an effect to pop this, just so I can get the Zoo in the grave. And then we just go ahead and punch, hit him for 53. He goes to activates and summons the Numeron Wall, weirdly enough. I go ahead and summon Chakanine. And then I summon the Dryden. Oh no, yeah, and then I summon the Tigger, equipped to the Dryden. And then I summon Zeus, pass. Conquistador summon, sure, I couldn't really do anything about that, and I didn't want to. It wouldn't have really done anything. He normal summons Alistair Valor, which is a blessing. because I never want Alistair to resolve. He summons Phoenix, tries to beat into that, and I'm like, alright, I'll pop the Phoenix, and it's going to die regardless, but that's fine with me. So he sets the Sanguine directly after off of the Conquistador. I'm like, oh, that's no bueno. So I go to an attack, and then I go to an Ash this, and this is basically lethal, like after this. You know, I don't really care too much, and I just punch the Alistair in the face. Literally, as long as the Conquistador didn't resolve, we were always good. To be fair, I literally could have just popped everything and still blew him up, which would have been the same exact result, but, you know, it was whatever. As an overall, I really like this deck. I really want to play this Infinity Gate version because when it goes off, it's insane. And usually you can go off even through a hand trap or two. It doesn't really matter, but you know, the deck seems like it's just better off doing Tri-Brigade things by itself. But yeah, the deck is so much fun, and I cannot wait to play this. So, and you're probably going to see deck profiles from almost all the decks that came out as well from the new set. So definitely look out for that. And if there's any other decks you guys do want me to go ahead and put up, let me know, because I'm always open to trying new decks. It also helps me learn and other people who watch my content. Yeah, alright, take it easy.